Hello and welcome. My name is James McNeil and this is The Emotionally Intelligent Fighter. This particular video segment is focused on emotions versus logic. And for some people, it does become a battle between emotions and logic. Can I think rationally or am I overwhelmed with emotion? In a daily discussion, you can become so upset that you can't think of a good response. Someone says something or does something upsetting and your best verbal response is and we think, what happened to my brain? I became so emotional that I've lost my ability to be logical. Well, in MMA and mixed martial arts fighting, a person would want their brain to be able to work with their emotions engaged, because without emotion, we're probably not as focused as we need to be. And so how do I balance this thing? Well, let's take a look at it. First thing I wanted to illustrate is a thing called the teeter-totter, the emotional teeter-totter. Normally, when we think about emotional intelligence, or at least emotional management, we think of a teeter-totter with one side being logic and the other side being emotions. Simple teeter-totter. So when emotions go up, logic goes down. Pretty basic concept of how we manage ourselves on a daily basis. When I'm really upset, my logic drops. This is a pretty standard thing. Or inversely, if emotions go down or calm down, then logic may escalate. If logic escalates, it begins to lower the emotion. So this is the norm. This is common. Emotional intelligence says we want to take both to another level. I want to raise my capacity to be emotional, to be stimulated, to be motivated, to be highly alert and focused because of an emotional reason, a rationale, risk, or opportunity. But I don't want my logic to go down. In fact, let me just erase this. And let me see if I can go back one screen here. Okay, so now instead of taking that teeter-totter concept, I would like to have that line of logic and emotions. I want the whole line to be able to go up. I don't want a teeter-totter thing in the middle. I want to be able to escalate my emotions and escalate my logic. I want to be able to take it to a whole new level. I want to say, when I get really upset, I get really sharp. When things really come down, I show up. I'm able to raise my rational capacity, my intellectual capacity, to join my emotions, to be there for the moment, to be appropriate with the intensity and the rational capacity, to be able to think ahead, to be able to plan, to be able to stay in a leadership role, to be able to dictate the pace of a fight or whatever else I'm dealing with. So emotional intelligence says, I want to raise the whole bar. I don't want to just be a victim of the teeter-totter of emotions versus logic, as if they can't get along. They can get along, and I want to learn to take my game to the next level. So this will actually take some time, and I will continue to build on this. But I do want to give you one more piece here. So in emotional management, you've got one of the fundamental concepts is stimulus-response model. For a child would say, I have no choice in the matter, I simply react to life. So if little Billy hits little Sally, we say, Billy, why did you hit Sally? And Billy says, well, Sally hit me. Like as if he had no choice in the matter. He says, what? She hit me, so I hit her. What else could I do? I had no option. She hit me. And so we as adults hopefully have found the gap that exists between stimulus and response. There is a gap, and that gap is man's final freedom. We have the choice to choose our response to the stimuli that's coming at us. And this is a foundational concept that builds the mental muscles that eventually can allow us to take logic to another level when emotions go to that next level. It's born in this little muscle to say, I don't have to get upset because my food isn't right. I don't have to lose my cool because that person did that. When I was doing some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu myself, and don't worry, I'm not going to pose a threat, but when I was doing some training, I remember having an accident wherein in making a move, I accidentally kicked the person I was grappling with in the mouth, and his mouth split open. There was blood everywhere. And I completed the move not knowing I had injured him because it just happened so fast. When it was done and he tapped, he looked up and I could see, oh my goodness, he was bleeding. And he said, that's fine. He said, let's roll again. I'm like, I'm not I'm not going to do any more drills with you because you're probably angry now because you have a split lip. And he said, no. He said, this isn't ballet. This is mixed martial arts. He says, here, stuff happens. He says, don't worry about it. It's just life. And I was so impressed with him that he was able to say, the stimulus, this guy just kicked me in the mouth. Any other place in life, someone kicks that guy in the mouth, they're probably in trouble. But he chose his response. He was appropriate for the moment to say, we're just here, we're just doing this thing. And the kick in the mouth here with you doesn't mean the same as a kick in the mouth there with them. And he was able to bring logic into the moment. And that's the kind of thing I want you to become aware of, that this builds the emotional management muscles inside of someone to say, I choose my response. Yes, I know that happened. I choose my response. Someone cuts me off in traffic, I choose my response. Now that I say that, let me now clarify. It's difficult. And it's difficult because, let me clear these. It's difficult because stimulus response is like a bomb, like there's two pieces of a bomb, stimulus response. And if the wire is connected between between S and R, stimulus and response, if that line is there, if that line connects them, then we're in trouble. However, if I'm having a little bit of trouble here. If I can challenge my perception that's driving my emotion, so let me just draw the letter P here. There's a perception. The stimulus triggers a perception. So I kicked the guy in the mouth. It happened. So the stimulus creates a connection. The immediate visceral connection would probably be, the perception would be, hey, that guy did it on purpose. But he immediately challenged that perception and said, wait, remember where you are. You're here at the gym, you're on the mat, you're with a guy who has mutual respect. It probably was just an accident. So he was able to quickly challenge, and that's important that you remember that word. He was able to challenge his perception. Therefore, the perception didn't create the, I am having trouble with my board today. The emotion, and that is the connector. The perception creates an emotion. The emotion drives the reaction. And so when he challenged his perception, he gained power over his reaction. He didn't have to by force say, no, oh, don't worry about it. There was no effort in him. He didn't have to fight back his temptation to punch me. He had no temptation to punch me because he immediately challenged the perception that would have triggered that emotion, which would have caused that reaction. He challenged it at a higher level and said, well, no, it doesn't mean that, or I don't know that it means that, or until I find out, I'm not going to get emotional about it. And he learned to challenge his perceptions. So very important point here. If we want to build our emotional intelligence muscles to take logic up with emotion, then it's going to require that we learn to challenge our perceptions that have triggered the emotions. And how that starts manifesting itself in a mixed martial arts competition, we'll continue to piece together. But I did want to give you that foundational principle on emotional management, and this is how to manage the stimulus response model. So again, thank you so much for joining us at mentalmma.com. Again, my name is James McNeil. Thank you so much. I look forward to working with you again soon.